We are back in the saddle again. I am taking this truck and the RV, the old RV, up to the place where the new RV is being stored. We're going to put it on consignment and put it up for sale up there. I've had quite a few phone calls on it, and I really haven't had a whole lot of complaints about the price, but I haven't had a whole lot of people wanting to buy it and take it off my hands either. And we're getting ready to get back on the road, so I got to put it into somebody else's hands to get it going. The adventure continues. In all this time we've had together, I don't think I've ever shown you how I set up the trailer. Let's do that. Let's fix that. So first off, whenever I am camped, I like to keep all of this stuff locked up. It's easier to have security and not need it than to need it and not have it. So I have a tongue pin lock here, and this is just a simple padlock. And I will actually have a video coming out on some better ones that I found soon. So be sure you're subscribed to see that, because those are actually pretty slick. They use the same key that you use for your car. And then I have a ball lock, and that one's going to require 2 hands. And this one's probably undersized for this job, which is why it's a little difficult to get off, but it's easy to get on and off if you have 2 hands. See? Pretty easy. And that just fits up inside of the ball socket and locks your trailer in place. Next up, I take this little pin right here and I pull it back, which moves the lever inside of the ball out of the way. And then we need to back the truck up. So you can see I'm not perfectly lined up here. That's okay. There's enough slop in this whole deal to make it all work out. Like this here will move side to side, and this here will swing side to side as well, and they'll be able to line up just fine. That isn't enough to worry about. I'm also all here by myself today, so there are a couple of things going on. Number one, I recommend that whenever you have your engine running and your keys in the ignition, I mean, I guess those two things go together, right? That you have your window down, because I don't want to be stuck here trying to load up my trailer. My trailer's currently locked, and my car would be running and locked, and then I'd be stuck because I wouldn't be able to get in or out of my car because my trailer keys are in my truck, and my truck keys are in my truck, and my truck is locked. Not a good day if that happens. So I always keep the window down. The other thing is goal. Get out and look. G-O-A-L. I'm by myself today hooking up the trailer, and so I'm going to back up a little bit, check it out, and get back in the truck and back up a little bit more and check it out as needed. Next up, I want to put the emergency brake on to make sure that the truck isn't going to move when I get out and let my foot off the brake over here, so that my trailer and my ball all still line up like they're supposed to. All right, and now the ball is a little bit off from the tongue here, but I'm going to make that up by pushing the ball over, and then we'll lower the whole thing down. I have this pin here pushed back so it moves the pawl out of the way, and now we are free from the ground, and that latches right in place. And then put my lock back in, and that stops this from coming up and getting out of the way. Sometimes you won't be able to seat this just properly, and you need to take your truck and move it forward just a little tiny bit. Next up is the safety chains. There is a lot of talk about these safety chains here. What I like to do is cross them underneath as best as I can, and it's probably more mental than anything else, but now I've formed this little basket underneath of the receiver hitch here. And hopefully what will happen is, if anything does come disconnected, this will fall into the basket instead of falling and spreading apart. And you know, again, it's just peace of mind. It helps a little bit. My brake safety coupler hooks onto the back of my truck. And then we have these fancy torsion bars I'll show you. All right, so these things here are torsion bars, and they kind of work like a wheelbarrow. What they do is they help with weight distribution and sway control. And as far as weight distribution goes, I don't fully understand it. I'm not that kind of engineer, but it takes your truck and your trailer and it pushes them up together in the center. So the load on your truck goes to the front wheels and the load on your trailer goes to the back of the trailer, and it's supposed to help balance the load a little bit more. As far as the sway part goes, it's all friction based. So what I will do is I will grease up this part right here where the balls go on the front of the torsion bars, but then this part back here, which you guys can't see, but then this part back here where the bar lands, I leave this ungreased because I want the friction there to help with the sway control. And then putting them in is pretty straightforward. I put the big end down first and then twist it in place. And this little part here keeps it locked in. And then with this truck, it's not so hard because this truck doesn't squat that much when I put it on. I can actually do it by hand. But if I couldn't, it comes with this little weird shaped hook tool, and you put the hook in the bottom and then you twist it up and get it in place. I'll show you that on the other side. And then you put your locking pins in place. And there they go. And then don't lose this thing. And then next up is to grab all your wheel chocks now that you're hooked up to your truck and you have your emergency brake on in your truck. And then make sure all your doors are locked. One more once over around the outside. Wheel chocks are picked up, caps are on, doors are closed, lights work, steps are in, doors locked, good to go. Make sure all of your jacks are up, and if you are the person that is driving the vehicle, then it is your responsibility for everything that's attached to it. So if you have somebody help you hook this thing up, make sure you go back and inspect everything. Make sure your chains are hooked up properly, make sure your bars are hooked up properly, make sure your hitch pin is in place, because you could drive away and leave your hitch behind with your trailer as you're going down the road. I mean, you'd know right away, but it's also, not something you want to do, because your trailer will fall down on its tongue, and that kind of ruins travel days, you think? So safety first, and second, probably third too. And we are underway. One more thing I like to do right before I take off is I put the truck in drive, I take my foot off the brake, and I reach down and I hit the brake controller. And I just want to feel that the trailer brakes are working and are slowing down the truck. And if I need to make any adjustments to the, what do they call it, the amount of drive that the brake controller sends to the brakes, this is the time to do it, rather than when I'm on the road and in a panic situation and I need them.